Hello and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV. On this program, we discuss issues around politics, policy and governance. I am HAMZA IDRIS. Security of lives and property, which is the primary responsibility of every responsible government, happens to be one of the cardinal objectives of the Bola TINUBU administration as encapsulated in its 8-point renewed hope agenda. Though the government had inherited multidimensional security challenges from its predecessor, such as banditry and terrorism, kidnapping for ransom, IPOP, secessionist threat, among others, President TINUBU has promised to tackle the challenges head-on. 1 year after, security experts and citizens alike have been pondering on whether the TINUBU government has walked the talk in dealing with the existential and contemporary security threats in the country, or has failed to prove its mettle despite claims it has improved the situation. It is against this backdrop we'll be engaging with a renowned security and intelligence expert and managing director of Beacon Consult, Dr. KABIRU ADAMU. We also have a seasoned hostile environment reporter, editor, and convener of Geopolitics series, Senator IROEGBU. Together, they will look at available statistics on the nation's security situation under the renewed hope administration of Bola TINUBU. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
And happy 1 year?
Yes,
1 year anniversary. Fine, okay. We'll now take a short break, and when we return, the conversation commences. Don't go away. Once again, Dr. KABIRU ADAMU, Senator IROEGBU, welcome to our studios. Yes, it is meant to review the security architecture. You are first on my right. What will you say 1 year after? Can we say it is a success story or a mixed grill, Dr. KABIRU?
Thank you. 1 year is usually an indicator. Like we say in HAMZA, the beautiful Friday. It is from the morning of
Juma Atagari.
Yes. So the signs, the steps that have been taken in that 1 year can give you an indication of how the rest of the 3 years, or perhaps even more than 3, will be. Now, I think it's only fair to gauge the performance of the government on what it promised to do.
Yes.
In your opening remarks, you referred to the Renewed Hope agenda, which is the manifesto that was presented to us during the campaign for the 2023 presidential election. Now, in that document, the government identified 7 cardinal issues that it intends to achieve in the area of security. And I'll quickly list them.
Okay.
Number 1 is to reform the military doctrine and philosophy, reform the police too, occupy ungoverned spaces,
yes.
Provide security in communities more or less, and then provide a harmonized national integration database,
okay.
And then improve relationships with our neighboring communities,
yeah.
And then 2 others that I can't immediately
maybe in the course of the
recall,
program.
if I recall. So if we pick them one after the other, we can. So let's start with the review or reform of the military doctrine,
yes.
as it were. I don't think that has been achieved yet. A lot of effort has been made. Persons have been appointed who virtually everybody has agreed that the personalities of the current service chiefs is the right fit.
You're talking about
the Chief of Defense Staff, yes. Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Naval Staff, and the Chief of Air Staff. The harmony between them, their professionalism is well acclaimed. So it's a good step. But the principles, the philosophy, the policy that drives what they do, not much has been touched by the administration. In fact, our national defense policy that is due for review has not yet been reviewed. I know the process is ongoing,
yeah.
but it hasn't happened yet. In that document too, if you look deeper into it,
yes.
There are subsets of the 7-point agenda. There is the policy imperative to create battalions, special battalions to address unique challenges. So in other words, banditry as a security challenge.
Yes.
That document spoke about creating battalions to address the issue of banditry as an example. Now, as far as we know, that hasn't been done to it, but possibly work in progress. So let's leave that and go to, of course, before I leave that, one thing that the administration deserves commendation is the desire to improve local production of armament and ammunition. Okay. The administration has passed the DICON bill, the Military Industrial Complex bill, and we know that the president traveled to 3 countries where he signed multi-billion-dollar deals. He's been to India, he's been to United Arab Emirates, and then he was in Turkey. In each of these 3 countries, he signed, I think, over $1 billion deals with them. And just recently, the Minister of Defense told us that I think about 50 companies, according to him, have agreed to set up local production facilities tied to DICON. To that. So they deserve a commendation in that regard. The policy imperative is that by 2027, 40% of our local production would have been achieved locally by 2027.
We're looking at 3 years.
Exactly. So, but the process has started.
Okay.
Third point, reform of the police.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that hasn't been achieved. In fact, the most painful part of it is the resolve to recruit 10,000 policemen per year, which was started from President Buhari, that he took over. Not a single person has been recruited till date. I think it's just this week or last week that the Police Service Commission listed, if I remember, 10,000 candidates that would likely be recruited as part of that process. So not much has been done. Of course, the state police debate has started, which is part of the police reform agenda. But if you are going to score that, I think not maybe just 10% out of the 100, the other areas that have been identified as part of it. Then let's also look at the data that would suggest whether there is an improvement or not. What we did in Beacon Security and Intelligence Limited is to look at the last year of the Buhari administration. So from June 2022 to May 2023. And then to also look at June 2023 to May 2024.
That is 1 year of TINUBU administration. But maybe before we analyze it, let me how I can see Senator actually, maybe is it in agreement or a contrast to what Dr. I ask, is it a mixed green? You travel a lot and you are a hostile environment reporter, but now more or less you do more of editing and the technocratic aspect. Can you say that this government has cut a niche for itself in terms of approach to the security architecture in Nigeria?
I'll say not at all. I know my other brother wanted to be a little bit diplomatic.
He's always diplomatic, yes. but you know, but when he unravels the data, you now see. So he allows the data to speak.
And he really marshal out point. And though what I mean, he tried to at least also give the government credit where it should be. Yes. When you talk about, is it a mix? So the point I'm trying to make, for me, is not even mixed. For me, it's not really a pass, because I felt that they've not. Are you trying
to say setbacks?
I just feel it's how when something is standing still, no movement, no forward or backward. So nothing significant have been done in the security.
There is stagnation.
Yes, there's stagnation, and it's not by default, because of the way the government started his approach, governance approach, not actually emerged, but the way it kicked off. Okay. I would say that because of the way it kicked off, it now pushed security or insecurity to the back burner. Okay. That announcement of fuel subsidy removal took a lot of attention from security and insecurity, and pushed other the demons it waked up from that fuel subsidy removal. So most of the attention is because the nation is grappling from the truth of choke or economic difficulties that the fuel subsidy removal has caused, and inflation that follows. So, and most of the attention of the populace, even the media attention, have been on these economic issues,
Okay.
how to tackle it. Then the state of insecurity have taken the backseat. And if you are not a careful observer, you may think things has improved.
Okay.
But most of the report, unlike before, when you check the front pages, you will see this attack here, so have been killed. It's no longer the same. When you look at the front pages of media these days, you will think that everything is normal. You will think that security have actually improved.
Maybe because people are hungry, and
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Even though the insecurity has, was in fact statistics have shown so, or not improved, but most of the attention has shifted from insecurity to other things, to how people will survive, to how they steady the economy. So now, I'm yet to see the security agenda, the security architecture of the current administration. So what is actually happening is that, okay, what they inherit, the structure, they are maintaining it, but nothing new has been done. From the statistics he has read out, from the agenda they've set when they are coming in, no improvement.
Talking about reform doctrine, occupying ungoverned spaces, harmonization.
No new security program, no new security approach. It's just service chief doing what they are supposed to do, police doing routinely what they are supposed to do, but there is no reinvigoration. There is no security program. You can look at this administration as, okay, look at the dynamics of the security vision or trajectory. You are not even seeing, in fact, there is no attention to it at all. What is actually happening is how the government is paying much attention, responding to the dire economic situation, the inflation that is going on, the forest issue, the fallout from the fuel subsidy issue, like the current, the one that is whether the wage increasing bill or not. You see that state of security and insecurity are taking the back seat. So no concrete effort, no program, no project, no
so no.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. But I don't want to be too hard. What I'm saying is that yes, they are trying to survive from this.
Maybe the figures Dr. Kabiru will unravel for us will verify some of the, or reinforce some of the things you mentioned.
Okay.
You said you made a comparison between the last year of President Buhari and then the first year of President TINUBU. What did you find?
Exactly. I hope your colleagues can display.
Yes, I'm sure they will do that. Yes.
So that we can.
Is that
exactly?
Okay, fine.
That is it. So the viewers can also see for themselves.
Yes, exactly.
What we did is, this is 12 months of the last 12 months of the Buhari administration, and then the first 12 months of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. If you look at the top, that's a summary. So what in essence, the summary of this presentation is that more people have died in the 1 year of the Tinubu administration.
More people have died?
Yes, than the last year of the Buhari administration. What the total figure for fatalities in the last year of Buhari administration was 9,291, while the total figure for abduction was 4,870. That's for the Buhari administration. If you go to the first year of the Tinubu administration, 9,740. So almost about 500 more people died under the Tinubu administration, while for abduction, the figure is 5,448. So almost 1,000 more persons have died in that 1 year. Now the argument can be, okay, it's a pre-election year. The Buhari administration deployed more security personnel, took more action, and we all know that that is what happened because it was a pre-election year. But the fact that the Tinubu administration came in with the knowledge that the security challenge had reached a peak, and that we've been promised that there will be a reduction, we did not expect. Truth be told, this surprised us.
It was a surprise.
Yes, even for us. And the reason is, if you recall, not too long ago, a top official of this government, one of the highest security ranking official of this government, came out twice. One time in Sokoto when he visited, then the other time when he gathered the world at a terrorism conference and told the
that
world,
must be the NSA, even if you don't want to call them.
and told the world that incidents had reduced to 200 per month, but our data showed differently.
Okay.
As you can see, there is a month where we had up to 1,300 fatalities in just 1 month. So we're doing this not to embarrass anyone, but it's a wake-up call.
And facts are sacred.
A country where up to 1,000 people die in a month should not be celebrating. So to that extent, I agree with what Senator is saying, but I also want to be factual and say a lot is being done. But
Doctor, when you say a lot is being done and families are grieving, I mean, children are becoming orphans by the day, women are becoming widows.
Hamza, let's call a spade a spade. These things are happening in the north. If you break down those figures, 80% of them are happening in the northwest, north central.
Are you referring to the density?
The density of occurrences.
I can see the biggest.
Borno State will be the biggest.
Exactly. So it is there.
Yes, but this is, I think, just for it's for 1 year. But as you can see, the spread. Borno, Kano, Zamfara, of course, other places would include. Kaduna should have been reflected there, but I'm surprised why it's not.
Maybe something happened.
Zamfara too should be reflected. Katsina, of course, should be reflected. But if the totality of the figure shows clearly that the northern half of the country represents up to 80%. And the point I want to make is everything that the president should do for the north he has done. If you look at the hierarchy of our security organizations, they're all occupied by northerners. The only exception will be Ministry of Interior and then maybe DIA. But the majority of them are occupied.
Are you referring to maybe Minister of State, Minister
of Defense,
Chief of Army Staff?
If you go to Police Affairs, the 2 ministers are from the north. Defense, the 2 ministers are from the north. The NSA is from the north. So point I'm trying to make, the president has done his appointments. And that responsibility should have been taken over by those appointees. And I'm very delighted that he has put in place a performance measurement mechanism that is being driven by Hajja Hadiza Bala Usman under the CDCU scheme.
I want Senator to come in here. The template you spoke about, and then having, is it wrong peg in wrong hole? Because if you have 2 ministers of defense, one from Jigawa, one from Zamfara, you have ministers of police affairs, right? All of them.
One from Yobe, the other one from Nasarawa.
Yes.
Then the NSA from Adamawa.
NSA from Adamawa.
And then which other organization? I think several others.
DSS.
DSS. NIA. Exactly.
So should we take the blame to TINUBU, or we can change the whole thing to look at it from the political perspective? Maybe they are not the right people to be there.
I've always been someone, just like I said during the Buhari administration, I don't believe in making excuses for Nigerian presidents, because if you check globally, the enormous power invested in Nigerian president is one of the highest in the world. If you remove autocrats like dictators in a democracy, the power embedded in Nigerian president is far higher than that of US president, who other institution can really checkmate. So I will still bring it down to, yes, the point he listed, the security, the head of other security, which showcase the vision or the plan the president have. And that's why I say the takeoff of the administration has a lot to impact on the insecurity. That announcement he made in fact, whether it distract, so all his effort and energy is focused on.
Is it because now he doesn't have any background around security?
So what I'm saying, the point I'm making, yes. Even though these organization ministries are headed by northerners, but they need the person who's the buck stop on his table to drive the vision. There's enormous power, and they call it body language, that flows from the president that cascades down to the minute they watch. If you want is now and he shows he's ready for insecurity, those people will wake up. And if they are not performing to his satisfaction, he has the power. It's just like those people are crying, don't blame Buhari. I say, okay, if the service chiefs or what are not performing, you have the power to hire and fire. So because if they don't perform, it's to your own. If they perform, the credit goes to you. When people will analyze the history of administration, what they will call is TINUBU administration, Buhari administration, not Burata administration or any other person. So that's always my point of argument. If you feel that these people, be the NSA, be the ministers or whoever that is in charge, is not performing to what you appointed them. There are many, we are a population of 200 million and very brilliant people. I don't want a situation where we feel that it's only one person that can perform a particular job. If you feel that these are not performing to your satisfaction, 6 months is enough. Now we have 1 year. You can review your cabinet and say, okay, you are not giving me what I want. But
Doctor mentioned that Hadiza Bala is there. We thought maybe on
we are going back to what I'm saying. Would they elect Hadiza Bala? What I'm saying
but
is,
you have to delegate.
No, wait,
Senator.
Wait, if you delegate, okay, if Hadiza Bala takes 1 year to finish her own assessment, Nigerians who are dying should be waiting for 1 year.
It is not actually 1 year, 1 month old.
No, what I'm saying is the urgency of what we need. And what I'm saying is that the president, from what I can see, has not really, he's distracted by the economic situation. And that's where you see most of the effort is going to steady the economy. And now, he should not forget that there's something that is called human security. Even the poor economy is also adding to the insecurity, and insecurity is also aggravating the economy. So it should go hand in hand. So, like, I'm trying to reawaken them if they are listening to me.
Of course they are.
So that they can pay attention to this. I don't want to be too you know that I'm against them. I'm just trying to be as frank as I can. That look, things are going wrong, and thank God for the statistics research organization like Beacon, Nesty, and so many others. If not, that's what is saving the day. Because like I told you, the media has even been carried away. Even the populace itself.
We're trying to be meticulous, especially here in
No, because Nigerians are buffeted like by the daily survivor. That they don't know that their next door neighbors are dying. That the insecurity, if not for the statistics, like he said, he's surprised by the figure he got. But some of us who hears from, because who hear from the daily, understand that this is what is going on. But it's because it's not taking the headline like the way it happened under Jonathan, under Buhari, where those were the prominent, they are the number one issues. Now the number one issue is the economy, the survivor. Now he pushes this other aspect, the existential threat, to the back burner, and it seems it's not there, while it's even growing worse. Now, it may not be the fault of the president by default that this thing maybe he's not aware. Now, my job as an analyst and as a media person is to call his attention, like what I'm doing now. Mr. President, see what is going on. Maybe it's a time you need to prep up your security team to double up their action, give them matching orders, and the Usman, what is her name? Bala, yes, that is doing the assessment. Maybe
she should fast track.
Okay, if I may come in.
That's my own.
Okay, maybe before you come in, we'll just go on a short break so that Dr. Kabiru, you will now shed more or add to what. Okay, fine. It's okay, but I like it this way, and I'm sure viewers will also.
The fact is really not, and my whatever I'm saying is
fine.
Yes.
Okay, viewers, don't go away. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. If you are just joining, you are watching Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow the conversation across our social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. Here in the studio, on far right is Senator IROEGBU, is convener Geopolitics series, hostile environment reporter. And in the middle here is Dr. KABIRU ADAMU, MD Beacon Consult. Once again, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
Yes, we are discussing security. Has hope been renewed on that TINUBU? You wanted to say something, but I will add with a question.
Okay.
It appears there is serious onslaught on our security operators, looking at the number of soldiers killed in the last 1 year, different dynamics. Okay, while you comment on what Senator said, I want you to also comment on this.
Yeah, so what I wanted to clarify is, I know Senator is a researcher and one that I respect a lot. So when he keeps on saying that the president has not given direction, maybe it's because he has not been exposed to the content of the Renewed Hope agenda. Okay. That document is very clear. And for the first time in our history, we had a transition committee that, if I remember well, received the backing of the Buhari government, where officials of the TINUBU administration and that of the Buhari administration sat down together and came up with a ministerial pack that had clear direct direction. It was on the basis of both the Renewed Hope agenda and the ministerial pack that the 8 priority areas of this government were identified, and security was one of them. If you recall, the first place that the president visited was the Office of the National Security Advisor, the new complex. Point I'm trying to make is that, as far as I know, this administration has prioritized security.
But when you take, Doctor, I don't want to cut you, but when you aggregate maybe pages, front pages of, I think he's talking about because in media we prioritize issues that are there on the front. Even some are even alleging that it was deliberate, creating chaos in the economy to distract attention from security. And I think that is what Senator is talking about.
I monitor open sources. Yes. And I can tell you that security is still there in the open sources. There is no day you would, in fact, even in your platform, that you don't discuss security. Maybe there is a bit of, emotional exhaustion or psychological exhaustion. People are tired of reading and they become numb to security developments. But I do not think that security has been put in the back burner. Yes, there are quote and unquote more important things.
But honestly, Doctor, I had someone saying, you know, of course, the vice president, ahead of the election, the vice president, he said it, but maybe he backtracked. Okay. We don't know that he's going to be in charge of security because of his experience, and then the president will be in charge.
Right. He said that.
Economy. But now it's like he's neither here nor there.
But let's not go into that.
Okay,
let's not go into that.
But you can see now, on many occasions, you rarely hear the president talking about security. They only say they have succeeded, and now you have dished out.
So I was coming to that.
Okay.
When Senator said that the president should change in 6 months or 1 year, governance is not done like that. If you change your
no, before you discuss, let me land. I'm not saying you should change.
Let me land.
If they didn't work to his
satisfaction, so which is where I'm going to.
And from Nigeria,
because you raised that the Northerners are heavy.
Doctor, you don't be a journalist. I hope I'm not depending on you.
No, I'm not.
I'm going to that.
Okay.
Yes. He has put up a system. Let's give credit where it's due.
Okay.
The Buhari administration started with Executive Order 13 and did not institutionalize it. This administration institutionalized Executive Order 13. And
it is about
this Central Delivery Coordination Unit. Okay. For the first time in our history, they are using metrics to measure performance in governance. They borrowed it from the UK. I think it was Tony Blair, if I remember well, one of their chancellors anyway, introduced. So now it's institutionalized. And the process is this. At the beginning of a period, after the appointment of ministers, that CDCU would sit down with the ministries and agree their key performance indicators. Of course, the 8 priority areas are listed out. 8 of them, we know security is one of them. So all the contributing elements to security, there are so many of them, because all the human security element you mentioned, they are contributing elements. Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, education, But the core ministries that have responsibility for security are Defense, Interior, Police Affairs, and to an extent FCT and Niger Delta. So their KPIs, key performance indicators, will be agreed at the beginning of the administration. Then once you agree those KPIs, you also sit with them and agree baselines. As an example, farming communities are being affected by insecurity. You determine the land mass of farming communities to say, okay, this is the thousands of hectares that are being affected. At the beginning of 2023, this number was affected. By July 2024, we want those hectares to be reduced to this number. So you've agreed a baseline. Go to oil theft, you agreed the baseline. Now you can't just sit down with your head and say there is improvement or there is no improvement. There has to be a process of measuring that performance. If you base it on just whims and caprices, that's not how governance is done. So the CDC is currently doing that, and the idea is that it will be done quarterly. So that of first quarter 2024 has been done, and if I recall, the report was submitted to the president last week or the previous week. So he's going to go. No, I at some point, because in the past, what it used to be was that technical experts would be engaged that would sit with the ministry, but the CDC will now introduce two components. They launched an app, and every one of us is free to go on that app and give your submission to say we feel security is improving or it's not improving. These are my reasons. So that's one, Nigerians contribute to the process. Number two, the sector experts would also sit with the ministries, look at what the ministries have presented as their scorecards, and then give their value judgment on the base of their expertise. And then the last one will be the ministries themselves. So I think that those three will be matched together, and then a decision is arrived, upon which the CDCU under Haji Hadiza Bala Usman will advise the president, this ministry is performing, this ministry is not performing. Now it is the discretion of the president to change or not to change.
Okay, I'll come back to you to answer the second segment of the question on soldiers being killed. But I want you to come in. Is there a nexus between some of these shortcomings here and there and the food crisis we are facing? Because farmers can't access their farms.
Yes, definitely. There is a nexus because it wasn't by the inflation we have. Then the insecurity has wasn't the food crisis because farmers are no longer in the farm to farm.
And government is not willing to import.
Yes, government is not willing, and then even importation is even not easy because of the forest.
As far as government is concerned, anything is possible. For your people to keep dying of hunger, why not import? Because you are there for people, not to allow the dynamics of economics and all that to distract you.
Yes, that's why we need to improve security, because the more the security improves, the more we have, because we have the land, we have the arable land to in fact feed not only Nigeria but even other parts of Africa. So, and we've been feeding ourselves comfortably before. So, but with the situation with farmers out of their farmland, even both the pastoralists too not doing well as well. So it affected every startup.
So if I understand you, no matter the magic they will try to do in terms of economic realignment, without addressing the insecurity, they may not likely succeed.
That's it now. It's at the core. That's why I'm saying it's a give and take. Like there's no development without peace. And peace also engender development. Development also sustain peace. So it's a symbiotic relationship. It's a cause and effect, and that's why the element of human security is very critical. It affects every other thing. Once it's not addressed squarely, then it affects. It's like a chain. Yeah. So the more like the crime rate that is increasing is because the more people don't have. Are not gainfully employed, the more those who have some criminal tendency that have been suppressed before will begin to raise its ugly head, and crime will increase.
All right.
So, and something I want to point out. Okay. Yes, I'm quite impressed with the point you raised with the structures that are putting in place. but there's a difference between doing things at the policy level and actually implementing, and they're implementing it rightly. Yes, we may have all these policies, they are doing it, they are doing. What people want is impact. Impact. It's just like when people are saying, okay, economy is growing, they say, okay, but it's not cascading
GDP
down.
and all that, yeah.
GDP is growing, but
And
it's
the
not
poor man, he wants to see.
Yes,
but I mean, if I may comment.
Yes, I'm trying to balance this.
What are the governors doing to support all of this?
Okay, this is another.
Frankly, because we can't just focus on the federal government.
Okay.
That's what we're talking. That's where this reform we are talking about, the community policing, the state policing, which you say that not much has been done in that regard, because the governors, what they are left with is the vigilantes and all this So, but people have also expressed fear about the state policing and the community policing. But it's when they are drafting, these are things, these fears that need to be taken care of. There's, in order to conclude this aspect, there's something that is, you campaign in poetry, right? You govern in prose. So yes, all these things are campaign promises. And now this is governance we are talking about. So if this does not translate to tangible result, impact of what people are saying, it will just remain in the book.
It remains like a manifesto. Okay, let Dr. KABIRU come in here. Yes, answer the first question, and then you can now build in on subnationals, the role they can play. Why are we losing our gallant troops? Is it that they deviated from
It's a combination of factors.
Okay.
Number one is in counterterrorism, studies have shown that the more you use force to address, and I'm using my word carefully, identity-based conflict, the more the adversaries and the conflict actors will seek to arm themselves